Have you ever wished that Madeline from Celeste had a sword and a gun and went around killing everyone to metal? Well, that's kind of weird. But that's this game. Scourgebringer is an early access roguelite where you must enter a great machine to stop it from destroying everything. And you know what that means. Going through rooms, killing everything that moves, sometimes things that don't move, getting items, buying stuff at shops, getting special items, and fighting god dang bosses. And, dying and having to start all over. The core gameplay here is the running and the fighting. The movement in this game is awesome. Double jump, mid-air sword slicing for days, dash attacks, infinite dash attacks, running up walls, infinite running up walls. The fighting complements it perfectly too. You got a sword that can slice every which way, ground or air, and a heavy attack as well. Enemies are mostly airborne, so you need to zoop up to them and give them the old Omni Slash. The dash attack can also push enemies, so you can group them together and just hit them with the... You also have a sort of ultimate attack called Fury, where you fill up a gauge and press a button and then suddenly you're in 3D? Wait, no, this is Fury with an I. This is Fury with a Y. This one destroys all enemy projectiles that are currently out, and you do some more sword slicey attacks
for massive damage.
Sometimes enemies go, and you can use your heavy attack to stun them. You can also use the heavy attack to do a reverse Uno card and deflect bullets to your cursor. Speaking of projectiles, you also have a gun that runs off of energy you get from hitting stuff. You can buy different guns from the shop, which there's one on every level. There's also a blood room on every level, where you can pick up one of 3 items to keep for the rest of the run. Think of it as your normal item room kind of thing. Once you activate the blood room though, you can't back out without picking an item, so when to activate the blood room becomes its own choice. Do you wait until the end to see if it has the item that completely refills your health and ammo? Or do you go ASAP to see if you can get more drop chances on weapons or items? Passive items can drop from cleared rooms as well. They're honestly not very exciting though. They're like 5% sword damage, 10% ammo, 1 maximum health, 1 heal, 1% interesting. Of course there's a boss room, but the boss room is locked on every level and you have to kill a mini boss for it to open. The bosses and mini bosses are the same every time, but they're actually pretty cool. Well, the bosses are really cool. The mini bosses are kind of just stun lockable pushovers. This is also one of those permanent progression type roguelites. When you die, there's a skill tree you can upgrade with points you get from bosses and mini bosses. This is not an unlock more items for future runs type roguelite though, so you can find all the items that are in the game right now from the beginning. And that's the abouts of what you do in the game. And you know what? It's pretty freaking good. The core gameplay, super satisfying. Zipping around, taking out enemies, dodging or reflecting attacks, it's great. There's a little combo meter that multiplies the amount of money you get, so speedrunning rooms becomes pretty fun, and I usually don't give a flying pancake about score multipliers. Playing really well just makes you feel like a badass, interrupting multiple enemies in a row or deflecting enemy attacks back into themselves. Cha! The audio-visual feedback is just so good, and that soundtrack slap. It goes between calm ambient level music and combat music pretty gracefully. You know what? Have a listen. See? It's a banger. You can fast travel to different rooms so you don't have to play Walking Simulator Roguelite 2020. I'm sure I just gave somebody a bad idea. This roguelite is definitely way more skill-based than luck-reliant. The difficulty is right where you need to figure out how to play, but not super easy. I'm not even sure you even need items to beat the game. Wait a second. The variety in the game right now is pretty low. You see the same rooms that always have the same enemy layouts a lot. Items are just small stat boost. The mini bosses and bosses are always the same. The different guns are really the only thing that can change the game up, and there's still only a handful of those. The blood room items aren't that great either. There's 3 items that are just some kind of item drops more often. But since those items aren't exciting either, you just get an uninteresting item to pick up more uninteresting items. Especially the damage items. Basic enemies only take 1 to 4 hits to kill, so adding 5% or even 10% extra damage doesn't make the number of hits to kill things go down. It's just kind of weird. And you know what else is kind of weird? The skill tree. Some of the stuff you unlock on it is pretty integral to the enjoyment and success of the game. Heavy attacks reflecting projectiles is a game changer. I'm not sure if it's a con or not, but you just end up eventually unlocking the whole tree anyways. Well, not the whole tree, because almost half of it's not in the game yet due to it not being in the game yet. Early access, it's a thing. There's also only 3 levels at the moment. I finished the 3rd boss and it was like, thank you for playing the early access version of the game. And I was like, oh man, you just gonna leave me hanging like the desolation of Smaug? All of that said, if the biggest complaint I have with an early access game is, dang, I wish there was more, then it's going pretty good. I think once the game is fully complete, it'll be one of the better side-scrolly roguelites out there. The roadmap that the devs put out looks like they know about everything I just said in cons, so that's pretty promising. It took me about 5 hours to beat the current content, and I'm definitely eager for more. The game is on Steam for $15, which might not be the best money-time ratio if you're trying to get infinite time out of this, but I'd say it's worth it. Oh, it's also on the Microsoft Game Pass too. If you like this review, don't forget to smash like or smash subscribe or smash some keys on your keyboard for a comment. Smashing. 2 Lanes, out.